But let's jump into the final topic, and that is Mike Conley. Before the draft happened, the Mike Conley sweepstakes were won by the Utah Jazz. The Grizzlies trade away one of their all-time leading scorers, and a team that was led by grit and grind, Mike Conley, Marc Gasol, Zach Randolph has finally left Memphis. An era is over, and now the Jazz have a point guard that costs a lot of money, Ricky, but he's a guy that's never been an all-star, but has probably should have been. So they add a high-quality guard. What was the price they paid for it?
So the price to pay, and I was pulling up one other thing because there's a different part that adds into it. So originally it was Memphis traded guard Mike Conley to Utah for Grayson Allen, Kyle Hot Sauce Korver, and Jay Crowder, and the 23rd pick in tonight's draft, plus a future first-round pick.
Tonight's draft.
Then tonight happened, and the Thunder and Grizzlies made a trade between the 21st. So the Thunder traded the 21st pick to Memphis, and I believe
they selected Brandon Clark.
They selected Brandon Clark, but they gave away the 23rd, and I think a second rounder or a future
2024 second rounder.
2024, that's right.
So the deal was Mike Conley, a 2024 second round pick, and the 23rd pick for pretty much what turned out to be
Allen, Korver, Crowder, Brandon Clark.
And didn't they get a draft pick?
And a future first.
Yeah, and a future first. So
pretty good for the Grizz.
I look at that in Memphis. Let's talk about them first. Holy shit, what a fucking haul. You get Brandon Clark. That's a great pick, pairing him with Ja Morant. Grayson Allen coming off the bench as a three-point shooter. I think he could be interesting. Kyle Korver is probably nothing at this age, but you might be able to flip him for a second if he continues to be a shooter. Yeah. And Jay Crowder, not great, but he's cheap. So, I mean, not horrible for what they did. And you get a guy in Brandon Clark who was the second most productive player in college basketball last year. Kind of a limited floor because he doesn't have that shooting. But Jaren Jackson and Brandon Clark on the floor defensively, that's going to be some magic out there, Ricky. So Memphis, I think they did enough to compensate the loss of Mike Conley, what he meant to that franchise.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing for me is there's only one question. Of course, they're going to address it in free agency. Is right now they don't have a center, but I believe it was Valanciunas. Well, he's not on spot right because technically he's a free agent.
He
but
declined his option, but he wanted to.
He'll resign.
Yeah.
So hopefully they get him back. The only big question that I have for the Grizzlies is with them adding all these players. Obviously, Ja's going to be the point guard. Now it becomes a question of with Grayson Allen there. I mean, you got Avery Bradley and Kyle Korver. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to move Avery Bradley and maybe they're grooming then Grayson Allen for the starting point guard job. But they still have Brandon Clark if he's going to be the 3. You still have Slow-Mo Kyle Anderson there. You still got Chandler Parsons for another year. They got CJ Miles, Jay Crowder, Bruno under contract, and then obviously Triple J being the 4. The only question I have is what's going to be their definitive starting lineup eventually, not at the beginning, because obviously, I think it might be Avery Bradley, just because if he starts the season with them. My question is, who's the long-term out of this 2 and 3 that they're looking for, and what's the plan for the 2 and 3 with Memphis?
I think the 3 would be Brandon Clark.
The 3 over a Kyle Anderson? Because he's the guy that
future, yeah. I mean, Slow-Mo has been a guy that he's not he's super consistent.
Yeah,
I think I've always seen him as topping out as a bench player. I don't think he's a fine starter. I think that Brandon Clark's talent and athleticism is going to win out over a guy nicknamed Slow-Mo.
Yeah, maybe it's one of those where Brandon Clark starts off the bench, but eventually as the season progresses, he then overtakes Kyle Anderson, and they kind of
also
switch.
have 5 years of Clark, where Anderson already just got rid of. Well, he already just got rid of his first year of that 4-year deal. So I think Clark in the end is going to take over for that starter. So I think he's your future 3. Your future 4 is obviously Jaren Jackson. Your future 1's obviously Ja Morant. And you can address that those other positions through the draft. And it's going to be difficult because the Celtics do own your pick. Hopefully you can get the top 6 pick next year, so you don't lose that pick. And if you're able to do that, I think you're going to be able to find a guard at some point, either whether moving down to take the guard that you want and being able to accumulate further draft picks. But if you have a guy at 2 that you want, you could probably end up selecting him. So I think that overall they're in a fantastic spot to set themselves up. There's no guarantee that Utah is going to be great in a position where you're going to be selecting deep in the first with that future first. So you might be looking at a pick that's top 15 to 15 to 20 range. So you could also look for a guard in that slot. So I'm not too worried about the future of Memphis because you have 3 players that have bright futures and a lot of potential. And there's just now the ability to add on more to that team. And Grayson Allen could also surprise us and become that future too. So I think Memphis is in a fantastic spot. But let's talk about the other side of the trade, and I think the more important side of the trade. And the question that we're asking is, does Mike Conley make the Jazz a title contender? And we're talking NBA title. And I think that question is more focused on this year, and I think that's why the Jazz did that. Obviously, Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson's free agency is up in the air. There's no deal yet done, but the Warriors are saying
injuries too.
Well, at least saying that they're going to stay in the Warriors is not a certainty at this point. But the Warriors did say they want to come out and extend maxes to both of them. So let's just play the fun game of KD and Klay stay. They're still dampened, at least as a team, because you're not getting Klay back until April if you're lucky, coming off an ACL tear, and you're probably not getting KD back at all next year. And if he's coming back late in the playoffs. So the king of the West, the Warriors, they look extremely down and hurt. And then you got to look at the other contenders. The Rockets, they've been a team that's been ultra competitive. James Harden was our MVP this year, most likely probably going to be Giannis, but guy that's been top.
To correct you on a past podcast, you said we all picked Harden. I went with Giannis.
Oh, okay.
Just saying.
Well, majority went Harden. And that way, you have a player that's been top 2 in MVP voting in back-to-back years. I think even back 3 back-to-back years because I think he just lost to Steph the year prior to that. But with that, you have Houston, but they're kind of up in the air. Chris Paul's health is always an injury concern. They had everybody on the table. There was rumors about a CP3 trade rumor or trade demand. So we'll see if that team holds up. You have Portland, who just lost in the Western Conference Finals. They're going to be bringing back their big 2 of Dame and CJ. Nurkic is going to be recovering from a broken leg. You have Denver, the young and up-and-coming team. You have the Lakers, too, with LeBron James and AD. So looking at Utah, where do they fit in the Western Conference with the Warriors, the Rockets, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Nuggets, the Trailblazers, the Thunder, the Rockets? Where do they fit in this?
As it stands right now, the big thing for me is the 2 big dominoes are the LA teams. What are they going to be able to do in free agency? Because the Lakers, I feel like, need one more max player, and the Clippers are expecting to add max players. If the Clippers get Kawhi and someone else, I think they'd be above the Jazz of the 5th seed, so that bumps them down to 6. If the Lakers get another player that's good, that's a max caliber player, there's a possibility that those 2 teams jump the Jazz, and the Jazz would be bumped to 7, to where the biggest question I have about this is I understand why the Jazz made the move, because you look at what they gave up. Crowder was expendable. Korver's expendable.
That's the first time Utah's made a midseason trade in years.
Grayson Allen.
So he wasn't even a part of their future in the beginning of the start of the last year.
Besides the picks, Grayson Allen's the sweetener of that deal. Of hey, we're giving you a young player who, I know he only played he only started 13 games, only played 30 last year. Yeah. Didn't have a great rookie year. But he's someone that you could grow and could maybe be a bench player a good bench player is his floor. My question is, how is Mike Conley and Mitchell gonna gel together?
I think it's perfect.
And that's the thing of so this is the Jazz basically saying goodbye to Ricky Rubio. We're not gonna try to re-sign you because they went out and got Mike Conley. I just wonder, is it one of those things like, remember when we've said so many times when like a team makes a trade or a free agency comes and it's like, man, this is great. They're going to be this. And then we start seeing them play together. And it's like, ooh, this look good on paper, but it's not good on the floor. I want to wait and see how what I see from Utah early on before I start saying, because right now I would say that they are where they are. If the Lakers and Clippers don't make a deal, if they make signings, they're a 7 seed.
I think they're better than a 7 seed.
Well, it's just how competitive is the West going to be? I
think it's going to be competitive, but I think they're better than a 7 seed. I think to kind of stomp out some, like, let's say, what you just said, at least with the whole Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley working together, kind of like embers in a fire or in a forest, right? Those things kick up, might be a forest fire. I'm gonna stomp those out. All right, okay. I'm gonna put out the forest fire early.
I'm just asking questions.
First off, they haven't played together, but even with that, I think the biggest problem that we saw late in Donovan Mitchell's Utah first season run and throughout his whole second season run was he had trouble with other people stepping up to create plays and taking pressure off of him scoring. And that is going to be immediately relieved by Mike Conley. He's going to be able to create for Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell's going to be able to work more off ball, and he'll be able to score more and take more pressure off of Donovan Mitchell. Mike Conley's more consistent shooter than Ricky Rubio is, and he turns the ball over less, I believe, than Ricky Rubio. I could be wrong. And he's also going to kick in high-impact defense, which Rubio did. But I think the biggest part of that is going to be the shooting aspect that Conley brings in. Rubio was a decent shooter, but Conley's more consistent. And that's going to help this team at least flow more fluidly offensively. Mitchell seemed that he kept gassing himself a lot out last year, and the injury to Rudy Gobert early on didn't really help. And he didn't have a lot of help from Rubio, and obviously he didn't have a ton of help from Crowder as well. Crowder was kind of a disappointment. That's why they went out and got Korver. So I think the pairing of those two are going to be fine, because the biggest thing that Mitchell needed last year was a break and to be able to take a breath. And I think that he's still an effective player, and I think now having a player that can be impactful as Mike Conley is going to be huge for him. And that's kind of what Rubio provided in his first season with Utah. And I think that Conley's going to be able to bring that back. So immediately I like that addition. And now looking at that lineup, you're going to be able to play Conley at the 1, Mitchell at the 2. You have Ingles out there. I'd probably play him at the 4, and then Gobert at the 5. I think the 3 spot's open for them. I don't know exactly what they're going to do. And also the question
of Ingles at the 3 and someone else at the
well, the thing is that Favors, I don't know if Favors is staying.
Yeah.
So if Favors was there, play him at the 4, although he's typically, he's better at the 5.
Then you just got to find someone to play the 3.
Yeah, or the 4. And I don't know if they have that player on the roster exactly. I might be totally overlooking somebody.
Right now, their roster of 3s is Georges Niang, your boy, and Royce O'Neal.
Oh, Royce O'Neal will play the 3.
And then Tyler Kavanaugh is their other 4, but he's an RFA right now.
So yeah, it'd be my starting lineup for that team would then be Conley, Mitchell. I was totally forgetting about O'Neal, Jingles, and Gobert. And it's not deadly, but what O'Neal brings is shooting from the outside. What Ingles brings is shooting from the outside and great defense. Gobert is going to bring that powerhouse inside and a great screen setter. And you're going to have 2 dynamic guards in Conley and Mitchell. I think it's a very interesting starting 5. And you also have Quinn Snyder, who's a fantastic coach. And now my question is, how are you going to supplement those players? Because you did give up a lot of your bench in Crowder and Korver and Allen. How are you going to be able to supplant that team with players? Because it's not a guarantee that Favors is going to come back. And even then, I don't know if Favors is a great fit on this team. Him and Joe Ingles together was absolutely nasty. But outside of that, I don't know what his major effect was on that team. So now you just got to look at this team, and they have a lot of money tied up with Gobert. They have a lot of money taking on that Conley contract. How else are they going to fill out that bench, especially not having any draft picks? I think, well, not even first-round draft picks. in this year's draft. Obviously, trading that to the Grizzlies in that trade.
Well, and I guess another reason why I posed that question is, for me, the last time with the Grizzlies, we saw, because not Carson.
Grayson Allen?
No, Parsons.
Chandler Parsons.
Chandler Parsons. I wanted to combine his first name and his last name into Carson Parsons. But Chandler Parsons, he's been injured a lot. So it's like really, him and Mike Conley haven't really gelled as much. Like, for example, I'm looking at 2 years ago, 34 games for Chandler Parsons, 69 for Mike Conley. And I'm looking at from 2017. So 2017, Conley and Gasol. Then the year before that, Conley, Gasol, and Zach Randolph. Then the same thing, Conley, Gasol, Zach Randolph. The last time we saw a three that was on the top of the team in scoring was 2013, when Rudy Gay, if you want to hit the sound clip, you can, Sean. Oh my God, it's Rudy Gay.
Hold on.
Fucking Rudy Gay, man. Shit.
Rudy Gay led that team. Only 42 games for Rudy Gay. Led the team in scoring that year with 17. Mike Conley, only 14.6. Had 6 assists. Is that the Mike Conley we're going to see? And Mike Conley, that was one of the only years he played 80 games. Him and Gasol both played 80 games that year. Is that the Conley we are going to see? The more of like, hey, Don Mitch, I'm going to let him take more of that scoring role, and I'm going to find him the ball, and we could have a Mike Conley that is averaging 6 assists a game. I know he averaged 6.4 last year.
Yeah.
But are we going to see that where it's like he's the assister to Donovan Mitchell?
He's going to be the lead ball handler. He's going to have a very similar season to what I think was probably around his obviously his last year. I think 6.4, and then his pretty much his 23 to 26-year-old seasons.
Okay.
Where he was extremely efficient moving the ball. Probably averaged around like 6.3 assists those games, 6.5, 6.5, 6.16, and only turning the ball over about like 2 times a game throughout those years. I think that we're going to probably see that Mike Conley, or Mike Conley like 2016, because he's now going to be taking on more of a role. He was taking on less of a role back then. And in 2016, 2017, before he got injured, in that 2017, 2018 year, putting up 20 points per game and putting up about 6.3 assists a game. And I think he's probably going to do similar to that. He doesn't have to deal with Marc Gasol. He doesn't have to deal with, Zach Randolph anymore. He can really focus in on, using his speed a bit more, and I think using his body as well, although he does have to deal with injuries. I think we're going to see probably one of the better Mike Conleys that we've seen in a while. I think we're looking at what he's more done in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. When he's healthy, he's still extremely efficient, and I think that being out there with Donovan Mitchell, he's finally going to have a guard that could set him up, and I think he's going to be playing around a younger big man that's going to be easier to feed passes to than an older, aging Marc Gasol. And those past 2 years, at least when he's been healthy for Memphis, they haven't been great teams. So I think now having additional players with talent like Donovan Mitchell, Joe Ingles, Rudy Gobert, Royce O'Neal, going to be very productive to his stat line.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing I'm kind of looking at, I'm kind of talking my way out of that questions that I had earlier. Ricky Rubio last year, 6.1 assists. So if Conley's able to do that, that'd be great. Another thing that if Conley can do better than Rubio will help the Jazz is 3-point shooting. Yeah. Rubio last year averaged about 3.7 attempts, made about 31% of them, where Mike Conley last year was averaging about 6 per game. He's averaged 6 threes per game for the last 3 years. The only question is, what are we going to see? And I know 2017, 2018, I kind of want to throw out the window because he only played 12 games. Are we going to see last year where he was shooting 36.4?
Still above average.
Or 2016, 17, which I would really like to see, 40%. I know it's only 4% difference, but if he could be a 40% three-point shooter, from beyond the arc, that's kind of something that from the point guard position, Utah hasn't had that the past 3 years, because I know 2017, 2018.
Well, Rubio's best year was 36%. We're saying that's the baseline for Mike Conley in the past 3 years.
Yeah, it was 35.2 last year.
Yeah,
2 years ago.
He's gonna be. That's what I was saying earlier. He's more of a consistent 3-point shooter than Ricky Rubio is, and that's gonna be what's gonna open up that offense a little bit more. I think a big thing too with them, they had 3 picks from 50 to 60. 2 of them I think are going to be G Leaguers. One that I'm very interested in, Maione, the Yale kid. I don't know if he's going to make a major impact on that team.
3-point shooter, though.
But he is a 3-point shooter, and he is a bigger guard. He's going to probably be backing up Donovan Mitchell. They do have some interesting guards, too, but nothing great. Dante Exum's the biggest what-if in basketball in, the past 5 years. I mean, that dude got a huge contract extension, and when he's played, he's been interesting, but he's always been getting hurt. And they got Raul Neto as well. It's on the books for 2.15. But I think what they're going to need is going to be adding a player at that 4 spot. Because although Favors is on the books for 16.9, I think they should probably look to move him and look to add a player that can stretch the floor. Because I would say make Rudy Gobert old school Dwight Howard and just surround him with shooters and have him run the floor up and down and have him be a rim runner as well. I don't think he's as great of a passer as Howard was out of the low post, but I think that Gobert can do that, at least similarly. And I think this team could be very interesting if Gobert's put in a situation like that. I could also be talking on my ass because it's 137. Fuck it. Rudy Gobert's Dwight Howard now.
I agree in the sense of I think that Jarrell Brantley and Justin Wright-Foreman out of Charleston and Hofstra, respectively. Power forward, point guard, probably G Leaguers for them. Oni's the interesting one. The thing that intrigued me with him when we were talking second round talents is his 3-point ability, which I think, like you said, could get him into the discussion of hey, maybe we should have him on the roster and not have him be a G Leaguer. Plus, I don't think he's bad enough. If he improves the defense, he could be a 3-and-D player for them, but it's how much growth.
Big ass guard.
He's 6'6", 206.
Yeah,
is what he is right now, and he was.
He's
ESPN.
2 pounds lighter than Bol Bol.
Yeah, and Bol Bol went in the second round also, a few picks before him. But it'll be interesting to see what the Jazz do. Another interesting thing will be, I mentioned the 7. They could be the 6 because the Warriors probably, if they do keep Durant, he's from what I hear, not playing next season. And Clay ain't playing until the end of the year.
I think the biggest thing, too, is just the differential between what the Warriors are worth compared to everyone last year is going to be so much. That gap's going to be shortened.
Because they don't have Durant or Clay.
What I'm saying is the 1 isn't going to be a Warriors 1. It's just going to be a 1 seed. And that makes the West more wide open. Although it's going to be difficult for them to possibly get a higher seed. If they go up against the 1 seed, they might be able to actually take them down. And that's what I'm excited about. Give me your very early predictions
for the
pre-free agency of the Western Conference.
Oh man, I'm gonna say Denver at 1. Wouldn't have said that last year, but I'll say it this year. Denver at 1. Ooh. Clippers at 2, because I think Kawhi's going to go there. So Denver, Clippers, Houston, LA at 4, Portland at 5. Portland at 5, Golden State at 6, Utah at 7, and I'll have the Kings make the playoffs at 8. The only thing I'm waiting for is the Warriors. Because Kevin Durant will probably not play next year, from what we're hearing now, Clay will probably come back late season. The DeMarcus Cousins. I just can't wait for the Warriors to basically, we're the 6th seed, and then who we play, we get Clay back, and then we beat you in the first round.
And according to our comment section, it doesn't matter if KD's ready to play because he's going to be in New York. So if he's playing, he's playing in a Knicks uniform. I will slot the fantastic, lovely, great team that is the Los Angeles Clippers at the number 1 seed. Ooh. I also think that they will sign Kawhi Leonard, and I think that team without Kawhi Leonard was overachieving and now adding Kawhi Leonard.
Also, Dave was saying that there were pictures Kawhi enrolling his daughter in schools in Toronto, so they may keep him. But
he was at a Blue Jay game as well.
Yeah, I still think that he's going to the Clippers. It's hard to.
This is my pre-free agency projections. I'll throw. He might stay in Toronto. I'd love it if he stayed in Toronto. But I'll say he goes to the Clippers.
Sean's like, I want some loyalty, man.
Yeah, I'll say he goes to the Clippers. And he helps them to the number 1 seed. I will take the fellow Los Angeles team as well, and I will say that the Lakers are the 2 seed.
Damn, LA 1-2. Damn.
Give me a fucking LeBron James, AD, and possible question marks. Then at 3, I will take the Portland Trailblazers. At 4, I will take the Golden State Warriors. At 5, I will take the no. Wait, what?
So you said LA.
Portland.
What about Denver?
Portland at 3, Denver at 4.
Ooh, Utah Denver falls to 4?
Utah at 5.
All right. Don't you do it.
Utah at 5.
You got Houston.
6 for Houston, 7 for Golden State, 8 for the Spurs.
So we both have the Thunder falling out of the playoffs.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's
the West is loaded.
You know what? Screw it. Kings are out. Thunder are in. Thunder are my 8th seed.
Shit, the West is loaded.
The Thunder, the Kings could be better. I want the Mavericks to be better than they were last year. I know.
Who the hell? Kawhi can't go to the Clippers. Fuck.
He'd make the West too good.
Does Golden State miss the playoffs?
No, maybe. I don't want to. Could you imagine they miss the playoffs, win the lottery? Miss the playoffs, win the lottery.
Wiseman.
And then they get, what if they keep KD and they get Clay and KD
Wiseman.
back? No.
Shit.
The thing that, what was I going to say?
No. It's too late for this shit.
Oh, there was something
It's too early and it's too late for this shit, Ricky. It's not even.
Jake's gonna kill
30th.
me for this because I've been telling him this the whole time.
Right.
The thing that would be really interesting for me is if that third max player or that third piece that the Lakers are able to add, that's Jimmy Butler. If Philadelphia's like, no, we weren't able to re-sign him, and it's LeBron, Jimmy, and AD in LA. And then Kawhi and whoever would go with Kawhi. I don't even know who would go with Kawhi.
Al Horford.
That is the surprise. Well, the Sixers were the surprise team for Al Horford.
See, that's the thing. Even if LeBron, AD, and Jimmy Butler teamed up, they'd be the 2 seed.
Maybe
they'd coast.
Maybe we should live stream when free agency opens.
Coast? We should. Let us know your thoughts on Mike Conley going to the Utah Jazz. I think that they could be a team that could possibly make some noise, maybe make it to the Western Conference Finals. But in the end, I don't think they're a title contender. But you never know. Maybe they'll sell some souls. Maybe they'll go get fucking Justice Winslow.
Maybe
Justice Winslow makes
maybe
it a title
Pelinka
contender.
will actually open up the CBA and learn how the salary cap works.
What does that have to do with the Jazz?
No, I'm talking about the Lakers because we were talking about salary caps.
No, I was into the podcast.
okay.
And I was wrapping up the Jazz talk.
Oh, okay.
And I said they'll probably become a title contender if they had Justice Winslow. Nothing? All right, that was a joke. Whatever.
Oh,
Ricky's.
I thought you were closing the podcast, man. Dude, it is 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Cut me some slack.
Let us know what you think about Mike Conley becoming a Utah Jazz. Thank you for watching. At this point, 7+ hours. What?
Patreon.
I was going to do it.
Okay.
Thank you for watching the 7+ hours of NBA content that we put out.
Oh, man.
If you want to support this for some reason, check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. You can check out our bronze tier. Our Discord's still popping off at 1:44 a.m.
Yeah,
you could check out.
Jake never sleeps.
You can check out the gold tier where you can call into a podcast and call us idiots for something, for everything.
Shamori to Houston.
Like it. Or you could suggest some better topics, like I don't know, whatever you fucking think of. We can't think of it. That's why you're think of it and suggest it to us at the silver tier at $5. You could also subscribe to us on twitch.tv/mostvaluablepodcast. And you can subscribe to us if you have Amazon Prime. If you have it already and you're not subscribed to anybody, just go give us some love on twitch.tv/mostvaluablepodcast.
It's free money. Why not throw it our way?
Exactly. You're not using it.
Exactly.
We could use
it's not
it.
like you can cash it in at the bank. Well, we can't.
I
use
feel
it.
so weird saying that.
What? Free money?
Yeah, if you're not using it, we could use it. That seems desperate, but it's true.
We're in a box of emotion and pizza. That's what we're in right now.
Got a couple boxes.
It's a box.
You taking the pizza home?
Do you want it?
I don't really want it.
I'll take it.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, whatever. We're ending the podcast. We'll see you next time.